Good afternoon, everyone. It's Friday, and you know what time that is. It's the Miz Picks segment of the week. Every Friday, I give out my picks. I'm going to do a little different this week. We're not going to talk about the lines, just going to go into the teams and who I think will win the game. I'll have a lock of the week for you, and I'll have an upset of the week for you. There'll be 6 picks in all. I don't usually do all the games. I usually take 5. I'm going to go with 6. And then I'll also throw in an extra 7th, the Monday night game of the week, which happens to be a really good one between Buffalo at the Tennessee Titans. All right. Well, we go straight into it. There's some big games this week. Week 6 in the NFL. We're getting in there. This is where you start to find out who's real and who's not. And there's always a few teams that might hang around and make a run late in the year, like in December. But my first game of the week, we go down to Washington. There's a big game between a strong defense and one of the premier teams in the league, the Kansas City Chiefs at Washington, to play that Washington football team. Washington's defense hasn't lived up to what people expected this year. And their new quarterback, to me at best, is a little above average. Honestly, I'm not the highest guy on the guy. A lot of people think he could grow into something Heineke, but I'm not too sure of that. Washington's been up and down. Last week, I believe they lost a game to the Saints at home. They're at home again. Kansas City Chiefs coming off a hard loss to the Bills. Actually, they took a little bit of a beating, which is unlike them. Chiefs' defense hasn't been good. But I don't ever remember the Chiefs' defense ever playing good until it gets to, playoff time. Their offense usually runs the season. And this year it's been having a little trouble, but listen, this one's an easy one for me. Washington's not that good. I don't care how much the media try to hype them up before the season. Kansas City's going to go into Washington. Kansas City's going to win this football game. All right, the Chiefs, somewhere in this season, the Chiefs will get hot and roll off their 6 in a row. Don't think they're dead or anything like that. Kansas City Chiefs goes into Washington. Give me the Chiefs. You want to score? I'm going to go 27-17 Kansas City. Game number 2, we're going to Cleveland. All right, the Cleveland Browns are at home. They're coming off a crazy loss to the Chargers. I believe it was 47-42. Both teams scored a ridiculous amount of points. A shootout. The Browns have a better defense than they've been showing. Their offense is strong. They're having some issues. They're not getting Odell the ball. Once again, obviously, he's unhappy, as usual. Doesn't really matter. Arizona's 5-0. They're the best team in the league right now this year. Murray's putting up MVP football numbers. And they just acquired Ertz, a tight end from the Eagles this morning. Another weapon for Murray. A guy over the middle or can run some posts. Usually it'll be 3rd and short, and you'll just hit him over the middle for a couple yards to get the first down. To me, Arizona is due for a loss. And this game is set up for them to lose in Cleveland. This is my lock of the week. The Cleveland Browns will beat the Cardinals. There will be scoring in this game. Browns 32, Arizona 24. 32-24, Cleveland wins the game. Game number 3. Let's go out to Denver. the Mile High, Colorado. The Raiders have lost their last 2 games after starting out 3-0. Even more so, the Raiders have major issues as their coach has been ripped away from them and forced to step down because of some type of emails and things he said in the past. The Raiders, a lot of those players were Gruden players in the locker room. You might have some players that aren't happy with him if these allegations or statements are true. And you know what that leads to? A split, divided locker room. So the once exciting rolling Raiders are now a mess again, which in their history they always find themselves coming back to being a soap opera off the field. And I expect that there's divided emotions in the locker room. The Raiders are going into Denver. Denver's defense is going to take care of this ball game. I'm going to take the Denver Broncos in this game. I think it's going to be a defensive battle. I like the Broncos to win this game 23-16. But regardless of the score, Denver wins the football game. Game number 4, we're going to New England. The New England Patriots have been up and down this year. They haven't fared well against strong competition, and they have a young rookie quarterback who at times he looks smart, and at other times he looks like the rookie that he is. They do have a pretty solid defense, as usual, under Belichick. The Cowboys are rolling. They're cocky. They're arrogant. They're swinging at players, and they're getting away with it. And they got away with a win last week that they're overhyping. Because, see, they got lucky in that Giants game because the Giants lost about 16 players in the first half. So they didn't get to play a real Giants team which started hitting its stride. A lot of weapons were lost, including Saquon Barkley and the quarterback Jones. And they still found themselves in a 10-10 game and a tight game at 17-10, I believe, in the third quarter. Which isn't a good look, to be honest. But they won the game. They are playing good football. Dak is playing big-time football, and the Cowboys' defense is much improved, thanks to players like Parsons and Diggs. The Cowboys are going to New England, and a lot of the Cowboy fans are chirping. But I'm going to tell you right now, the cooking is right. Dallas is due for a loss. They're an improved team, but they're not elite. I saw things last week I didn't like in them. I know they think they're going to walk all over New England because the New England Patriots offense hasn't playing really good football. The game's in New England, and Belichick's going to have a scheme, and at some point Dallas is going to have that typical Dallas Cowboy letdown. And I'm picking it right here this week. The Patriots are +3. Dallas is favored by 3 to 3.5. The Patriots are going to win this game outright. The New England Patriots are going to get themselves their best win of the season at home. They're going to clamp down on Dallas's offense. They're going to make the game ugly. They're going to play tight defense. The corners are going to lock down on the receivers. And Dallas is due for 1 or 2 of these turnovers. We'll find out if Dallas is real for real this week. I think the Patriots find a way to win the game at home with one of Belichick's schemed ugly games and some special teams. You want to score? Give me the Patriots. Give me the Patriots. 24-20. Game number 5. We'll take a trip to Carolina, who is another team playing over their heads. I don't think they're as good as their record. I know they're 4-1. And they're doing it on defense, which is the way you want to do it. But I think they will come back to earth. the schedule was easy for them earlier in the year, and now it's going to start to become a little more challengeable, or a lot more. I think Carolina is hosting the Vikings. The Vikings are one of these teams on week to week. You don't know what you're going to get. They're a better team than the way they've been playing. But they always come down one week and step up on another week against an opponent you don't expect them to. That's just how the Vikings are, and that's how they've been for a few years, especially under Cousins. The Vikings need a win. I think they actually are a better all-around team. I think they're going to go to Carolina. I'm going to take the Vikings to win the game. Don't really have a score. There'll be some points in this game. 28-23 Vikings. I could see it somewhere around there. 27-23 Vikings. Vikings win the game. And then I got my upset of the week. And we're going to talk about this game. And anyone who knows me on YouTube has been knowing that I've been saying this all week. I'm pretty much might be the only one out there saying this. The LA Rams are a powerful team. They're strong. They're a Super Bowl contender. They've been playing really good, and they're going to fly across the country from the West Coast to the East Coast and play an early 1 o'clock game, which is really, in actuality, a 10 a.m. game for a West Coast player's body. 10 in the morning. On the East Coast, the New York Giants are coming off a hard loss. They suffered some injuries. The game ended emotional with a little brawl. Tempers flared. At least there were players on the Giants that showed some fire, like Tony, Hernandez, and Ingram. Pretty much the Giants have been in every game. The final score may have not showed it last week, but they were in the game for a good 3 quarters. And that was without a lot of players. You don't have Galladay this week, and you don't have Barkley. But that's okay. You're getting back Shepard. There's a chance Peppers could get back. You're going to have Daniel Jones, and you're going to have Andrew Thomas, which is 2 of the most important pieces on the team. The Giants are home. Not that they've ever been that good of a home team the last few years, but nobody in the world is picking the Giants in this game at all. The Rams are favored by 9.5 points, some places 10. That's a lot. That's a slap in the face. And the Giants have covered 19 of their last 21 football games. They've been a dog in many of those games, and they've covered 19 of 21. They've covered more spreads than any team in the league for a team that's been on the down. Last year, same scenario. The Rams were one of the better teams in the league. The Giants were not. The Giants went to L.A. and gave the Rams fits all game long. Nick Gates was not afraid to try to punch Aaron Donald right in the face. They lost the game 17-9. Once again, they were in the game. Once again, they covered that spread. Now, as a true fan, you could give a damn less about covering the spread. You want to win a game. And a lot of times, you lost some games this year that you shouldn't have lost, like Atlanta and Washington. And sometimes, when you gave away games, you get one that you don't expect back. That's how it goes on a long NFL schedule. You'll lose a game you never should have lost. You'll win a game you never even should have been in. The Giants match up with the Rams really well. They happen to match up with this team when a lot of other teams don't. We have the corners to defend their receivers. And when Daniel Jones is in there this year, the Giants have proven that they can move the ball real well. And Garrett opened up the offense the last 2 weeks. Unfortunately, they were hit with major injuries. It all came at once, which kind of destroyed the game for them. And we all know if the Giants were healthy last week and they didn't lose Barkley and Jones, that game comes down to the final 2 minutes. It would have been tight, real tight. I'm calling this the upset of the week. The Rams come across. The Giants are not supposed to be in the game. They have no right to be in the game. The Giants will hang around, play a feisty, grimy game like they sort of did last year against the Rams. And if you look over the years, believe it or not, even though these two teams are not in the same division, there's some bad blood between these teams. And it goes even way back to before that game with Odell Beckham where they put the late hit on him and the Giants went after the Rams on the sideline. This has been going on between them for years now. These two teams do not like each other. The Rams are favored by 9.5, 10 points. The Giants will 100% cover that spread if you're a type of guy that looks at the points. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm picking this as my upset of the week. The New York Giants will find a way to win this game and knock off the Rams. And it will be the biggest upset of the season thus far. Because the Giants are weird that way. Alright? They will lose a game to Atlanta and sleepwalk. And they will show up to a big game and find a way to win it. Their history shows that. Give me the New York Football Giants to beat the Rams Sunday. And have this fan base thinking they're alive again. Just when you're giving up, they're going to rail you back in. Giants win this game. 27-21. New York Football Giants. And then for one extra game, where I don't usually do 7 games, we have a 7th game, a Monday night game that's pretty interesting. The Buffalo Bills, which right now, there's no doubt in anyone's mind, is all around the best football team in the NFL. The Buffalo Bills are going to Tennessee to play the Titans, who are a strong team, but always find ways to have letdowns like every other week. You got a bull for a running back. They have a good offense. Their defense hasn't played as well as you expect out of a Titans team, especially over the past few years. The Buffalo Bills are loaded from head to toe. Big receivers. Josh Allen is a beast. They've groomed him. They have a strong O-line. And they've built their defense like I've told you. It remind me of the 07-08 Giants defense. They've loaded up at defensive ends. Boschman, Russo, they got strong defensive line. And a real intense secondary. Also, I got to give credit. Their coach emerged as one of the better coaches in football right now. They're coming off a beating of the Chiefs. Okay? They made the Chiefs look like they didn't belong. Which is very hard to do. Somehow, I think these two will meet again later in the season, in the playoffs. The Bills are going to Tennessee, and something tells me they're going to find themselves in a dogfight. The Bills are favored by 5.5. I can't sit here and tell you the Bills are going to lose the game, but I think it's going to be that close. So if you're a points man, you get 5.5 with the Titans. You take the 5.5, or you go buy one more point, make it 6.5. Play it safe. Take the Tennessee Titans to keep this game very tight. I feel this will be a very tight game. Something wants to tell me that the Titans could pull this game out. But I'm going to take the Bills by 3. Give me the Bills in this game. 27-24 Buffalo. Titans will keep it real close. It'll be a good Monday night game. That's my pick segment of the week. Should be a good week of football. I'm sure we'll be talking about it. Have a good night.